Me, 45-year-old man, and my ex, Hayley, 40-year-old woman, split up amicably because she came out as a homosexual. She is now married to Jane, 41-year-old woman, and they have 2 daughters together, Rose and Mel, 14-year-old and 10-year-old girls. Hayley and I also have 50-50 custody of our daughter Anna, 17-year-old girl. Now, to start, every person involved in the story, except possibly me, is an amazing person. I truly love Hayley and her wife and view them as dear friends. The issue, however, involves the amount of money I spend on my daughter Anna. I'm fairly well off thanks to working for years on my business, and I like to buy my daughter the best of the best. She is also not bratty and doesn't act spoiled. She always shares the stuff that I get her. Designer bags, dresses, tech, even her new car, with her stepsisters, and they have an amazing relationship. I also make sure to buy equally expensive gifts for all 3 girls when it comes to special occasions, as a good family friend should. However, my daughter has a much bigger allowance than her stepsisters, and that obviously shows in the stuff she buys for herself. So far, I had not heard any complaints from anyone. That is until Hayley came over the other day to talk and asked me if I can tone down Anna's allowance a bit. I asked why, and she told me Jane's sister was worried when she found out about the arrangement. She believes you can't raise kids in one household with different lifestyles without creating resentment. And while they may have an amazing relationship now, that might change when the 2 girls get older and start to understand concepts like wealth and class. However, I think that applies more to situations where one side of the family is starving and the other is fed with a silver spoon, not discrepancies in the amount of Taylor Swift merchandise owned, especially since Anna always shares. She also is not allowed to spend her money on traditionally family experiences like Disneyland or trips, without offering it to the girls too. And frankly, I worked hard for my money and shouldn't be obligated to consider the impact on another family's dynamic before spending it. And there is no evidence that their relationship is suffering as a result of money. But on the other hand, I'm worried about what if Jane's sister is right, and if this could be planting seeds of resentment. If that is true, I'd rather my daughter have a better relationship with her sisters than a larger allowance. Am I the idiot if I refuse to stop spoiling my daughter? Please be brutally honest. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. That's unfortunately the reality of blended families. You might try to keep things equal, but they will never be. Your daughter, from your accounts, is well adjusted, and you even go out of your way to gift the other girls on special occasions, something you're not actually obligated to. The only a-hole in this situation seems to be Jane's sister, who's meddling and creating problems where none existed. Question: does Jane's sister have kids? Might she be angling for her kids to eventually also get cool stuff? You know, just to make things fair between all the cousins. Or is she projecting her feelings of resentment about herself? How old is the sister, or her own kids being left out? Question: if you're that well off, I'm guessing this will be reflected in your daughter's car and her college fund. Will you also be required to chip in for the other 2 to make things equal, or only contribute as much as Hayley and her wife can? If something happens to you, will the inheritance be equally shared between your daughter and her step half-sisters? IMO: Jane's sister is a tea stirrer, and you should pay her no mind, not the idiot. Comment 2. Anna has shown responsibility, class and compassion with her allowance privileges. She shares with the other sisters and has, from what I can read, stayed humble. Whoever this sister is has no place in speaking upon the relationship you and your daughter have when it comes to money. Jane's kids are not your first priority. Anna is. The sister herself is projecting her insecurities onto the situation. You still spoil Jane's daughters for special occasions. The fact that you do that is amazing. You are still including everyone. So does Anna. I say keep doing what you're doing. Last but not least, if anyone harbours resentment towards someone else for what they have, especially when their family has worked their whole lives for that sort of privilege, that is their problem. That's hard-earned money. Your hard-earned money. Comment 3. No idiots here. Things can't be the same in combined families, and your daughter is already 17. She'll be out of home before you know it. Since your daughter is very nearly an adult, maybe this could be an opportunity to start discussing money, making budgets, and trying to save for bigger things she wants needs. She'd still be receiving the same allowance, but wouldn't be flashing cash as much in front of the younger girls. If you are currently spoiling her, your words, teaching financial responsibility along with it, will set her up well for her future. Now for the update. Sadly, things have taken a challenging turn. Anna decided to move in with me full-time, as she felt her lifestyle was causing a rift in her relationship with her stepsisters. The girls, understandably, are having a hard time dealing with the disparity in their lifestyles. Despite my effort to reduce Anna's allowance and lavish gifts, the damage was already done. I took your advice to heart, but it was a little too late. Hayley and Jane are understandably upset, feeling like I've fostered this divide, unintentionally or not. Their marriage is under strain due to the tension in the household, and it's been difficult for all parties involved. The girls have been acting out in school. It's clear they're feeling the effects of the situation. Anna, who was previously so close to her stepsisters, now barely talks to them. She also seems to be struggling with feelings of guilt, as she believes her lifestyle has caused this upheaval in her family. I've suggested family therapy for all of us, but Hayley and Jane are hesitant, feeling as though I should foot the bill for individual therapy for their daughters. I've also been feeling the strain of having Anna full-time. I previously relied on Hayley to shoulder a lot of the parental responsibilities, not because I didn't want to, but because our arrangement allowed for it. Now it's all on me. It's been an adjustment, to say the least. As for my relationship with Hayley, things are tense. We barely speak unless it's about Anna. I fear our long friendship may be irreparable. I wish I'd been able to foresee the potential fallout of our differing parenting styles. In the end, I've learned that my intentions, however good, can have unforeseen impacts on those around me. I'm trying to navigate this new reality as best as I can. For now, my focus is on helping Anna adjust to her new living arrangements and making sure she knows none of this is her fault. Now, for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. This is a complex situation, and it seems like you're doing your best to navigate it. It's commendable that you're trying to create a balanced environment for all the children in the household, even if the process is causing some tension. It's crucial to remember that Anna's move was due to issues with her stepsisters, not because of your actions. It's also important to remember that it's not your sole responsibility to mediate the issues between Anna and her stepsisters. It's good that you suggested family therapy, as it might help everyone understand each other's perspectives better and work through the tension. While individual therapy could be helpful for Hayley and Jane, it seems like they're trying to shift the entire burden of their daughter's emotional distress onto you. It's reasonable for you to push back on this and suggest shared responsibility for their therapy costs. Comment 2. Not the idiot. But it's clear that there's a lot of emotional turmoil in your household. It's admirable that you're trying to help Anna adjust and reassuring her that she's not to blame for the upheaval. You're right to regret not foreseeing the consequences of differing parenting styles, but it's hard to predict how such changes will affect family dynamics. It's important to communicate openly with Hayley about your concerns and work together to find a solution. This isn't about winning or losing, but about creating a supportive, balanced environment for all your children. You might also consider involving a neutral third party, like a counselor or mediator, to help facilitate productive conversations and prevent misunderstandings. Remember, it's okay to feel overwhelmed and to seek support for yourself too. Comment 3. Not the idiot. It's clear you're in a tough spot and are striving to do what's best for everyone involved. It seems like you're taking on a lot of the blame for the current situation, but it's important to remember that you didn't cause the issues between Anna and her stepsisters. As for individual therapy for Hayley and Jane, it would be helpful if they could participate in the cost, as it appears they're attempting to put all the responsibility on you. Also, it's worth thinking about seeking some professional advice yourself to handle the increased responsibility and the strain on your marriage. These are significant challenges, and getting some outside perspective could be beneficial. You're doing your best in a difficult situation. Don't forget to take care of yourself too. Now for the next story. My wife and I are well off, and we are very grateful for it. We have 4 children, and this is about our 3rd child, Bella. We have a rule for college, and it is to get your degree in 4 years. We will pay for it, and if you graduate earlier, we will give you extra money for your own use. For example, my oldest graduated in 4 years and has no debt. My second oldest graduated early, took summer classes, and we gave him money that he is using for a down payment on a home. If they are doing a 5-year program, we will pay, but if they leave that program for a normal one, then it goes back to 4. Now, Bella has changed her major twice already, and she is a junior right now. She told us that she is changing her major again. I reminded her we are only paying for 4 years. This is where we got into an argument. She is upset that we won't pay, even though we have the cash. My argument is that we told her before and we aren't changing how we do it. By the end of it, she called me an unsupportive parent jerk and accused me of forcing her to go into debt for pursuing her passion. Am I the idiot? She won't talk to me at the moment. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. You're providing a great opportunity for your children, but that opportunity shouldn't be confused with limitless choices. She's a junior. She should be surrounded by people having problems making rent, people having to work 2 jobs or juggle children. She should be in the perfect space to be aware of her great luck. I understand changing your major and finding yourself, etc. It doesn't always happen at a convenient time in life, but that also has nothing to do with you or your money or your generosity. Besides, she should have most of the core classes done now for her BA. She should be in a position to graduate with something and then get a job to pay for the few niche classes per semester that she's found she really wants to do. It'll take longer and be more painful, but, well, that's life. Comment 2. What does your wife think? Why is Bella changing majors again? Has she shown that she is not applying herself, or is she a good student? Because she changed her major doesn't mean she won't have enough credits to graduate. She will have bigger workload, but doesn't mean she can't do it. She should speak to her advisor. I don't think you're a jerk because you reminded her, but it seems like the priority should be Bella finds success and AMP is happy with her degree choice. She can still get this done in 4 years. If money is your priority, then Bella needs to understand how she can either graduate on time or how much it will cost her for loans. Maybe she won't switch her degree. No idiots here. Comment 3. Not the idiot, I understand the reasoning. It's to ensure that they remain motivated to study for their course and not to flip-flop around. By the end of it, she called me an unsupportive parent jerk and having her go into debt for pursuing her passion. If she has already switched courses a couple of times, I'd argue she doesn't know what her passion is. Edit to add. I think an argument can be made if she is so unsure about what to study. Maybe it's best she comes back to it later in life. There is no logical reason to waste money and time studying for something one you might not finish or two, might not pursue after graduating. Now for the update. Well, folks, the Bella saga continues. In a twist none of us saw coming, Bella has dropped out of college entirely. The argument over the major swapping thing really took a toll on her. She's been voicing her resentment towards us, saying that we are stifling her freedom to explore her interests, and that we are the sole reason for her mounting mental distress. To add to the drama, Bella has now moved in with her boyfriend. This is the same guy who she's been dating for a few months now, the one who has never bothered to hold down a job or show a shred of ambition. I'll leave it to you all to picture how much of a mess that living situation is likely to be. But the cherry on top of this disaster Sunday, Bella has announced her plans to start her own business. Apparently she's been inspired by one of her fleeting majors, entrepreneurship. She's hell-bent on launching a revolutionary clothing line made from 100% recycled materials. While I support her eco-friendly approach, I can't help but worry about the potential financial pitfall she's stepping into. She's asked us for a loan to jumpstart her business. My spouse and I are torn. On one side, we don't want to enable her impulsivity, and we worry about the risk involved. On the other hand, we don't want to seem unsupportive again, nor do we want her to fall into debt before she's even had a fighting chance at adulthood. And to make matters worse, our other 2 kids are watching this unfold. They've been silently absorbing everything, and I worry about the example being set for them. It's a tough spot to be in, and we're grappling with our role as parents in this situation. Any advice would be appreciated. Now, for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. While it's clear that Bella is going through a tough time, she's an adult and it's important for her to learn that actions have consequences. Dropping out of college due to an argument about her major seems rash, and moving in with an unemployed boyfriend is not the most responsible decision either. Her parents have every right to be concerned about the financial risk of her starting a business, especially considering her recent decisions. They should encourage her to create a detailed business plan and maybe even seek out a small business loan or other funding options. As for the impact on the other children, it's crucial to maintain open lines of communication with them and ensure they feel heard and supported in their own individual struggles. Comment 2. No idiots here. It's a tough situation to be in as a parent. On one hand, you want your child to be independent and to follow their dreams. On the other hand, you also want them to be responsible and make sound financial decisions. Bella seems to be struggling with her identity and her path in life, and it's important for her to figure these things out on her own. However, it's also understandable that her parents are concerned about the financial risks involved in her business plan. Perhaps they could offer to help her in other ways, like providing mentorship or helping her network with experienced business owners. Comment 3. Everyone sucks here. Bella is understandably frustrated about feeling stifled by her family, but it's also clear she's not thinking through her decisions fully. Dropping out of college and moving in with her unemployed boyfriend are big life changes, and it sounds like she made them without a solid plan in place. Her parents are right to be concerned about the financial risk of her business, but they also need to realize that their overbearing approach could be pushing Bella away. It might be helpful for everyone to sit down and have a calm, open discussion about their concerns and expectations. They could also consider involving a neutral third party, like a family counselor or financial advisor, to help navigate these difficult conversations. Now for the next story. Me and my mates planned a casino outing this past Saturday evening. 3 of us drove together. The 4th said he'd meet us there. The plan was to meet at 7 p.m. The 3 of us arrived to the casino a little after 7. 4th friend is not there, so we get some dinner and start gambling. At around 9:30 p.m. we decide to call it a night. The craps table kicked our butt and go home. 4th friend still hadn't arrived when we left. As we're driving home, I get a call from Mr. Tardy, and he's yelling his butt off about how he's at the casino, and we left without him, etc. I laugh and tell him tough luck. You were over 2.5 hours late. He's still pissed at me and reading me the riot act all day, calling me a shite friend. Some of our friends have taken his side. Important to note, this dude is always late. He has zero respect for others' time. The only reason I might even consider myself being the jerk in this situation is that he did message us before we left asking if we were still there. I did not reply to him. With how late he was, I didn't think I owed him a response. So am I the idiot? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. It would have been nice to let him know you all were leaving, but no, being 2.5 hours late is ridiculous, given there was no emergency. It's his own fault. Also, I hope it's none of the friends that were there that are taking his side. They all could have texted him as well. There's no reason this guy or anyone else should be targeting you. Comment 2. I remember several years ago my mum invited a family member over for Thanksgiving. We were eating at 2 o'clock. We didn't hear from him all day. He had the nerve to call us at 6 o'clock and tell us he was on his way. My mum said, we already ate. Comment 3, not the idiot. How many times did he message any of you to explain why he was going to be late again? I didn't think so. Some of our friends have taken his side. They can wait for him in future. Now for the update. So a few days passed since the casino incident, and I finally decided to reach out to our perpetually late friend. Let's call him Dan. I told Dan that I wanted to talk about what transpired, and to my surprise he agreed. We decided to meet up at our usual coffee spot. We both arrived, him not significantly late, thankfully, and I began by expressing my feelings. I told Dan that it wasn't fair for him to put the blame on us when he himself had been consistently late, not just this time, but in many past situations. I explained that it felt disrespectful and that his lateness often disrupted our plans. I was ready for him to get defensive, but he did the exact opposite. Dan confessed that he had been taking therapy sessions for the last few months to manage his chronic lateness, something he identified as time blindness. He admitted that he struggled with estimating how long tasks would take and that he often lost track of hours. His confession caught me off guard. I had no idea he was dealing with this. In hindsight, I realized that we often joked about his never-ending tardiness, but never took a moment to understand why it was a recurring issue. He further explained that he was angry that night because he had tried really hard to be on time but had still failed. Dan apologized for his past behavior and for lashing out at us. He acknowledged that he needed to communicate better and promised that he would keep us in the loop about his condition in the future. It was a humbling and eye-opening conversation. We both learned a lot about each other, and I'm thankful that he was honest with me. It's definitely helped in reshaping our friendship. All of us are now working together to better accommodate Dan's situation, like setting meet-up times earlier so there's a broader window for him to arrive. In the end, I'm glad we didn't just brush this under the rug. There's a lot of value in open communication, understanding and forgiveness. And who knows, maybe next time we'll all make it to the casino together right on time. Now, for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. It's clear from your story that you had no prior knowledge of Dan's condition. Time blindness is not a commonly known disorder, and it's understandable that you would be frustrated with his constant lateness, especially when it began affecting your plans and activities. It's commendable that once you understood the situation, you apologized and took steps to accommodate his condition. The priority here is open communication and mutual understanding, and it seems like you both have reached that point. Remember, it's never wrong to express your frustrations, but it's how you respond afterwards that truly counts. Comment 2. No idiots here. It's easy to judge someone based on their actions without understanding their struggles. However, once we understand the context, it can drastically change our perspective. Dan could have communicated his struggles better, but it's also understandable that he might have been hesitant due to the stigma attached to mental health issues. You, on the other hand, had every right to be upset about his constant lateness. It's a sign of respect to value someone else's time. But your reaction upon learning about his struggle shows empathy and understanding. The key takeaway here is the importance of communication and giving people the benefit of the doubt. Comment 3. Everyone sucks here. While it's great that you're now understanding and accommodating Dan's issue, it's also important to note that you both could have handled this better from the start. Dan should have communicated his struggles earlier, instead of letting it affect your plans and your relationship. You, on the other hand, could have handled your frustrations more constructively instead of confronting him in a negative way. However, we all make mistakes, and it's clear that both of you are ready to learn from this and move forward. This situation is a reminder that open communication and understanding are crucial in any relationship. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.